is day one of the Constructed Championship at SorceryCon Indianapolis 2026. This is game one, round one, and top of the screen is a player named Sammy playing Savior, and I am at the bottom of the screen playing Avatar of Air. So this Avatar of Air hand, I decided to keep 2 bottomless pits in my opening hand. And I've been talking about it with some other players, like some other locals that play Avatar of Air, and their recommendation is more like don't keep 2, maybe keep 1 and pitch 1. Just because it's not as necessary to have those options. But I mean, I at the time, I think my thought process was I just wanted to have a lot of available sites to be able to defensively push minions into. I think drawing for a site there, just to ensure that I have enough air thresholds, and I didn't want to play out that Den of Evil early. I wanted to take advantage of the ramp on it. And I drew into a watchtower and played the watchtower out forward, just so it would have a more central effect. My opponent, Sammy, playing a Poisoned Well. Poisoned Well will deal 1 point of damage because there is one nearby enemy site. And then paying 2 mana to cast a Jihad onto my squares. Jihad is a scary turn 2 play. It could mean that your opponent is going to have a very aggressive open and just start casting things into your side of the board here. Fortunately, like I said, I started with that bottomless pit, and I played another bottomless pit on turn 3 here, and I chose to play it under the Jihad just because it limits what he can actually summon with the Jihad to that site. So if he tries to summon anything without Airborne, it will die immediately upon being summoned. So it's relatively safe to put that out there. And then also doesn't give him a foothold in to a site he can attack into if he plays a site out here into the center of the board adjacent to the Poison Well. So instead, he's choosing to go the other way, playing a second River of Blood. The River of Bloods are pretty relevant against my deck because I'm running like all vampires, so like 3 Dapperel vampires, 2 Renatus Truebloods. So the double halving of healing on those effectively, like, basically nullifies them. On a successful strike against the units, like, they're only going to be healing like one health at this point with the current board state. Getting out a Colic Dragonets, pinging for a point of damage with a projectile at the end of turn here, at the end of his turn. And like the bottomless pits, again, like they pose a problem for him just because he could try to attack in with the Colic Dragonets. He could get 3 points in, but then I could just walk up my Avatar of Air and then fly the Dragonets into either of those bottomless pits. Finally making use of that Den of Evil, playing on the back row there. And again, like I am pretty safe playing on the back row. And then ramping out that skeleton. Like playing out the vampire back there. Avatar of Air could still just walk over and then fly the Dapperel forward. So the range of motion that it can actually get to is like it can threaten to attack into his forward sights at the moment. Sammy playing a desert, unable to make use of its genesis. And then thinking about a play here. I'm wondering if maybe it would have been a little bit better for him to be more aggressive with the site placements and play the desert forward. It is just a tough, it's kind of a tough board state that I've created here with the bottomless pits, especially if he doesn't have a ton of flying minions. 4 mana for an infiltrate, so he's infiltrating my Dapperel Vampire. And I think what I point out here immediately is that the infiltrate card is actually errated, so if it loses stealth, the control breaks. And because we're nearby the watchtower, the stealth will break immediately from that when he takes control of it. And then control would revert back to me. So I just point that out, and he goes ahead and rolls that back, and that's fine. Typically for these large competitive events, rollbacks are allowed during the active turn as long as no new information has been revealed. So as long as nobody has like drawn a card or shown a hand or shown a deck or declared a defender, you are allowed to kind of roll back and resequence your actions during your main phase. Moving with my Avatar there, and then doing what I was kind of describing previously, flying the vampire forward, and then attacking in to kill the Colicky Dragonettes. And then just doing the calculation out loud, so we're on the same page with my opponent and I about that the double halving of the health. I will heal for a point of damage and then pass turn. So because of that kind of accidental play of the infiltrates, I know that he has the infiltrate in his hand, and as long as I don't stray further away from the watchtower with that vampire, the vampire is pretty safe. He's gonna have to find another way to remove it or create threats. 3 mana for Gibbous Night Gaunt. Again, just summoning it safely on the very back row here, and then threatening to propel it forward where I need it with the Avatar there. So Sammy, I think probably choosing to draw a spell at this point. He needs some answers to deal with the threats that I have on the board at this time. Not really being able to make use of the infiltrate is probably a pretty big setback for him, and it's just kind of lucky positioning with the watchtower there. Playing a Hillock Basilisk that will disable the Dapperel Vampire, using his avatar to tap to draw a site, and then unfortunately that's all he can do. Is going to pass turn back to me here. Hillock Basilisks, I more or less know how they work, but I mean I get kind of confused on the specifics sometimes. So it's just like anything like on the site where it is on top of the site, and then the site directly in front of the Hillock Basilisk. Minions at rest are disabled. And the at rest part is key, and I think I don't see a potential play line here on this turn where I could essentially use the Avatar of Air to fly the Night Gaunts forward onto the bottomless pit and then attack in diagonally with Airborne to remove that piece. Instead, I use a Displace to push the Hillock Basilisk into the bottomless pit. Attacking into the site with the Vampire, casting a Willing Tribute with my last 2 mana, sacrificing it to get another 4 points in with a second attack from the Vampire, and then attacking in with the Night Gaunts. And I think what could have been a slightly better positional play here would have been to attack with the Night Gaunts diagonally onto the that forward River of Blood, so as not to stack minions. And I believe that comes back to haunt me here in a turn or two here, probably this turn. So Sammy, thinking about his plays here, he has got some scary creatures at his doorstep. He's tapping for a site. Plague Pits. I believe there are 3 dead minions at this point, so we banish the cemeteries. That'll bring him to 5 mana for turn here. Five mana for turn in his mana pool. Casting a second Basilisk at his home site. So the Basilisk is gonna once again disable the Vampire and the Night Gaunts, and this is, you can see here, like, this is where some of my decisions have come back to haunt me. Like I said before, if I had just played the Night Gaunts positionally different and like attacked into the River of Blood instead of that Poisoned Well, I wouldn't be in this situation. Like, he would have had to choose to disable either one or the other, and it kind of had to have been the Vampire, the Vampire. Otherwise, like, one of those airborne minions would have been available to fly in and attack the Basilisk. I'm instead opting to use a Lightning Bolt to take a 50-50 chance to remove it. We're just talking about, we're going to do a die roll here, and we choose odds and evens for which target. It ends up being even, which is the Avatar. He'll take 3 points of damage, but unfortunately, like, that doesn't solve my problem with the Basilisk right now. That was 2 mana. I have some scary things in my hand. It looks like I have a Renatus Trueblood, and I have Whirling Blades as well. But I'm still only set up at 4 mana right now, so I think I'm probably going to tap here to get another site onto the board, so I can start playing some things out next turn. Which is unfortunately just like it's kind of slow to wait for a response, wait for something that I can use to deal with the Basilisk. Yeah, and then just like passing turn here. And then just, I mean, like I said before, like, thinking back to like kind of like some of the play lines that I maybe didn't see or didn't choose earlier. If I had chosen to use the Night Gaunts instead to trade with that first Hillock Basilisk instead of using the Displace. The Displace might still be in my hand, and I would have had the option to use the Displace now on this second Hillock Basilisk to push it onto the River of Blood site, where the vampire could then attack it. So just something to keep in mind, at least for me, like looking back on this footage, like thinking about like optimization of your plays and how to get the best board effects by spending the fewest resources, so you have those resources available for you on future turns. Sammy choosing to summon Monstrous Lion, and Monstrous Lion through the Jihad and attacking my avatar with Charge. He is playing. He's paying 1 for ward, and then unfortunately, I don't think it's really going to matter here, just because as soon as he passes turn, I can just push it into the bottomless pit. So he's trying to ward it again, and I think it's just maybe just he doesn't have any other plays really to spend that mana on this turn, or maybe he's thinking that the Avatar of Air ability has to target a unit in order to fly it. But the ability on the Avatar is not a target. It just says like fly a unit atop an air site that you are on to a nearby site. So we're gonna go ahead and push that into the bottomless pit. Once it's in the bottomless pit, the ward is not going to save it. It's just going to like keep checking to see if it dies. So it'll like pop the ward and then it will die. I'm at 5 mana now. 5 mana for a Renatus Trueblood, just to threaten to kind of have some pieces ready to try to take care of this basilisk. I mean, I draw into... I tap for a site with my avatar. I draw into a sinkhole here, which is nice. Positionally, it might have been smarter to just play the Mountain Pass forward from that bottomless pit, just so I had an attack vector diagonally to that basilisk. I mean, that way, like, on this turn, I could have played the Renatus Trueblood up there, and it would have been in position to attack directly into the basilisk on the next turn, or threaten to do that. But again, it's just I play Avatar of Air. I guess a little bit. Like it's one of the avatars that I play in my rotation. I enjoy it. I do not consider myself the best pilot for that avatar, just because there are a lot of complex like movement sequences and attack lines, and I don't always see them all, especially like in the moment when I'm playing the game. So I don't really consider myself just like an expert at the avatar, but I chose to play it. Here at SorceryCon because I thought that it would have the best chance. Fighting chance in the current meta, and I didn't really want to play. I didn't want to play like a water good stuff deck. There were a lot of those, or like a water necromancer deck. There were a lot of those floating around. Imposter is an avatar that I want to maybe take a pass at, trying to build a competitive deck. But I didn't put any thought into it for SorceryCon, and I wasn't about to try to cobble together like an untested competitive deck that I had no reps in right before going to the convention. So I finally get rid of the Hillock Basilisk with the Gyre Hippogriffs to charge in. And like, just thankfully I had the Gyre Hippogriffs in my hands. Otherwise, I like through my own non-optimized plays here, I probably would have given my opponent another turn to come up with answers and start pushing back on me. And then yeah, just attacking in with both of those freed pieces there now, bringing him very close to door at this point, or bringing him to door at this point. That was 7 points of damage. Yeah, I just haven't registered it. It's on my life counter yet. I haven't used my Avatar of Air's ability yet this turn, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I think I'm just going to fly it centrally. Which again, like, I don't know if that's like the strongest positional move for Avatar of Air or not. I think that like doing things like that gets me in trouble. Maybe even in this tournament and in some of the videos on future rounds here. It might just be stronger to leave your Avatar of Air like as far back and as hard to reach as possible, just because you have the tools to kind of propel it forward and propel your minions forward from the other side of the board on your turn as needed. So I think maybe that's just a much stronger position to have with Avatar of Air versus kind of bringing it up there and kind of sticking your neck out a little. But I think my thought process at the time was that he was at door here. I have some pieces on the door. I have some pieces at his doorstep, kind of threatening to kind of get that final kill in. But I also wanted to ensure that I had like some more positional availability with my Avatar to move in. If I needed to do something weird, like cast the spell or somehow like push myself an attack or something like that. He's casting an infiltrate onto my vampire, which is now again out of or finally out of range of the watchtower. And again, that probably was a mistake on my part too. Like, it probably just would have been an optimal play to still keep it in range of the watchtower and spread those minions out again between maybe the poison well and the river of blood sites to bring him to door and threaten damage. I think at the time I was just getting greedy and I wanted to heal for 2 points of damage. That's why I attacked in. And I knew he was going to door. So even if he did infiltrate, it would be tapped and I would still have that turn to get the final strike in on him. But again, I think that play was probably a little too greedy on my part. And he played a warhorse. He was attempting to attack in. I reminded him, just as a courtesy, that if he attacks with the warhorse, like he will not have a blocker on door, and then I just kill him with the Night Gaunts. So it's probably not the best idea to give your opponent advice on how to play the game if your goal in a competitive tournament is to win. But I had a lot of answers in my hands. And as you can see, I just play Whirling Blades to finish the game. So I don't know. I just like my instinct when playing sorcery is to be social and be to be kind and collaborative, and I think that's really where the game shines the best, and less so in a super competitive, unfriendly environment. So that was the end of round 1 of the day 1 constructed rounds for SorceryCon. I got the win there. I had a lot of answers in that game, but I feel like I probably made a lot of like suboptimal plays. And if I continue to play Avatar of Air in the future competitively, like I'll probably need to. I think I need to like kind of address some of those and get better at recognizing those play lines and making more optimal choices. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll move on to round 2. Or excuse me, I think we move on to round 3. The round 2 opponents declined to be on video, and that was completely fine. So we'll see you in the next one.